Today, we're diving into a technology that's pretty much everywhere, but we don't always notice it: image processing. We're going to find out how computers don't just look at pictures, they actually learn to understand them. So, let's get right into it. Take a close look here. What do you see? Well, we see a human eye, right? But for a computer, this is something else entirely. It's a whole landscape of data, a totally unique pattern that's hiding a secret.
And that's the big question for us today. How do we take a simple image like this and turn it into a key, or a medical diagnosis, or some other critical piece of information? Well, it all comes down to teaching machines how to see.
Okay, so let's start with our first big idea: seeing beyond the pixels. This is where we have to shift our perspective from looking at art to looking at pure data.
So, what is image processing exactly? Well, you can think of it as a set of tools that lets a computer break an image down into its most basic parts, the raw data. It's not just about seeing the color blue, it's about understanding the specific number that represents that blue pixel and how that number connects to every single pixel around it.
So let's circle back to that eye. With image processing, a computer can scan all those tiny, intricate patterns in the iris, turn them into code, and create an unbreakable cryptographic key. The image itself becomes an ID, one that says unique as your fingerprint. Pretty cool, right?
But this isn't just for some futuristic, high-tech security system. Nope. Image processing is already out there, decoding our physical world in ways you might see every day.
And these applications are way more common than you might think. Image processing is what lets a traffic camera read a license plate by picking out each letter and number. It's what helps a conservationist identify a rare bird from a single photo, just based on its shape and color. It can even look at a 2D photo of, say, a car and figure out the exact angle it was photographed from. This stuff is working all around us.
Those examples are really impressive, for sure. But this technology does so much deeper. The stakes can get a lot higher. I mean, what if the data hiding inside a simple picture could actually save someone's life?
And that brings us to a really critical application, what we can call the language of health. In this field, seeing the unseen can literally be the difference between sickness and wellness.
Biomedical imaging is a whole specialized field that uses these exact techniques to analyze things like X-rays, CT scans, and microscopic slides. Doctors are now relying on these tools to find problems that might be completely invisible to the human eye.
You've got algorithms that can scan it through thousands of images from a CT scan, automatically flagging anything that looks unusual and pointing out areas that a specialist needs to take a closer look at.
In dentistry, there are machine learning models that look at X-rays to spot cavities and other problems with incredible accuracy. A lot of times, they're catching issues that might have been missed.
And if you zoom all the way into the microscopic level, you have neural networks that can process an image and count every single cell. That's a super important job for research and diagnosis that is just unbelievably tedious and time-consuming for a human to do.
So how does this actually work? Let's break it down. A machine starts with a raw image, like an MRI scan. Then it applies a special process to it, something that enhances all the shapes and edges inside the image. And finally, it perfectly isolates the exact area of interest, creating what's called a ground truth mask that helps a doctor pinpoint the problem.
From our internal biology all the way to our external features, the applications here are just huge. And that brings us to our next section, reading the human blueprint.
You know, the key thing to understand here is the difference between how we perceive the world and how a machine processes it. We look at someone and see a happy face. A machine analyzes the specific muscle contractions as data points for the expression we call joy. We see hair in a drawing, a machine calculates complex math to understand its texture. And like we talked about, we see an eye, it processes biometric data to generate a key. It's a totally different way of seeing.
So, what's next? Where is all of this technology going? Let's take a look at the future of digital sight.
Okay, so the next big frontier is all about dealing with imperfection. Researchers are building systems that can intelligently fill in the blanks when data is missing or just plain noisy. They're figuring out how to rebuild a clear picture from a distorted, messy signal. And what's really amazing is they're starting to connect image data with totally different kinds of information, like text from a doctor's report and electrical signals from an EKG, to create one unified, much more insightful picture of what's going on.
When you boil it all down, this is the main takeaway. Through all of these incredible techniques, we are literally elevating machine perception. We're going beyond simple observation and into the realm of genuine comprehension. We're teaching our technology how to truly see.
And that leaves us with one final big thought. As this digital eye gets more powerful, more perceptive, well, the only real limit is our own imagination. What hidden patterns in our world, in our bodies, or even in our universe are we going to ask it to find for us next?